are back, and in this lesson, I'm going to be talking about orchestrating and playing melodies on the drums, okay? And when I say that, I am not talking about tonally. We're not going to be dealing with that. We'll leave that to, you know, Papa Joe Jones and Ari Honig. He's really good at that. But I'm talking about orchestrating the rhythm of melodies, okay? So we're going to take a bebop head, Groovin High, and then we're going to take a more of a melodic jazz standard, All the Things You Are. The first thing to remember is that if you can't sing the melody, you can't play it. That was actually a theme of the Sacred Summer Jazz Camp some years ago, a couple years ago. I think last year. Maybe it was last year or 2 years ago. Anyway, you have to be able to sing it. So we're going to sing it. Lead up, deed up, boo beady boo lead loo hey beat up, sheet up, boo boo lead loo hey lee dee boo boo lead loo ha da loo hey lee do boo hey lee show dee da lee boo boo lead loo hey dee da dee da lee boo boo lead loo hey lee da she da dee dee do boo bee do lee loo hey that boo 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 doo 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 little doo 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 bop. Okay, that was pretty good, right? I sang it pretty good. Now, I'm not a singer. I mean, I sing. I will never call myself a singer. Everybody should sing. I don't care what instrument you play, you have to be able to sing. Absolutely, okay? Even if it's not perfect. That wasn't perfect. The other thing is, you notice how involved my body is? This goes back to the last lesson about groove. I can't sing that melody and go dee-da, beat-da, bo-do-be-dee-bo-do-bo-do-bo-do-dee-dee-dee-da. I can't do that. I'm going to put the character, the personality of the song. I'm thinking about Dizzy Gillespie, and I'm thinking about his jovial personality. I'm thinking about the spirit of the music, of bebop specifically. And I'm just trying to get into the feeling of the music. I kind of go into character. Right? And I want my body to reflect the groove in the pocket. Dee-da, that's not gonna get it, because it's gonna sound like that on the drums. Beat up, boo 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 loo hey. The other thing, notice my articulations. Aha, that's how horn players play. They don't go dee-da, dee-da, or even swung. No, they articulate. Every note is played a little differently. We got to do that on the drums. We have to do that on the drums. Oh, wow. Okay, so you notice I was also vocalizing and singing the melody while I was playing it. I wasn't singing it as strong, but I was kind of ghosting it, or lightly singing it behind what I was playing. That helps me connect what I'm hearing to the drums. So what I recommend, if you haven't done this before, is starting on the snare drum. After you sing it, after you practice singing it, you really learn the song. Learn the song. You can't kind of know. No, we had to really know the song just like a horn player knows it. Play it on the snare drum, slow, and sing it while you're playing. Okay. And notice I'm adding not a lot of different articulations, but I'm adding some drags. You can add flams. Right? Drag. By the way, I'm using a sticking called the rub-a-dub, right? That Mel Lewis kind of coined. And it's a very simple sticking, but it's very effective at creating a jazz feel. So you can play heat up. You can play this alternating single strokes. Or you can play it with, you can play doubles. That's kind of cool. Or you could play it with this rub-a-dub sticking, which is right, left, right, left. And what happens is it creates a kind of natural, very subtle syncopation within the single stroke. So it's not as kind of rigid sounding. Okay, so you can kind of experiment with that when you have a long eighth note line, right? You can move it around right? And you can experiment with that. So that's not the only sticking, but you can incorporate that along with single strokes and doubles and whatever else you want to play. Anyway, so snare drum, and then practice orchestrating around the drum. So by the way, I'm lightly feathering. I'm doing it, okay? Practice feathering. It's a really important thing to just kind of get in the mode of doing. Okay, so after practicing it around the drums a little bit, practicing that melody around the drums, right? By the way, I haven't used cymbals yet. Sometimes we use cymbals, and the cymbals kind of are used kind of to cover up things. So I like to just start just with the drums. Okay, now let's incorporate the cymbals a little bit. And we can use the bass drum a little bit also. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play out, roll out. Mess that up. Right, so I'm just using the cymbals kind of freely. I mostly try to use the cymbals when I have a long note, right? But I'm not kind of restricted to that rule, you know. But they're most effective when you use them for long notes when you're orchestrating a melody. But you can use them for other notes. If I play the cymbal with the bass drum, then it might sound a lot shorter than if I play the bass drum strong. It'll sound shorter than if I go. Now it sounds like a long. But if I go, or if I go, compared to, right? So it's how the cymbals kind of sound, short or long, depends on how you balance it with your other limbs. Okay, so that's an idea of how to orchestrate bebop heads. Now, what if we, I kind of lied to you. I said we're going to work on a jazz standard, more of a melodic standard, but I kind of want to do something with this. What if we take that and try to think like we're playing a melody, but we solo, we improvise in that style as if we're playing a melody, okay? And we're not playing like, we're not playing that stuff. We're thinking more melodically and more simple, basic strokes, as if we're playing a melody. So I'll demonstrate. So. Right? So that's the melody. Now, what if I play a solo based on that? Not even based on that, but based on that sound and that vibe. Let's just see what that sounds like. A beat. I'm going to improvise and make it sound like, try to make it sound like a bebop melody. Let's see what that sounds like. 1, 2, oh. So I'm really trying to make it into a melodic bebop solo, not using typical drum set, bebop language, but more melodic and horn line language to create a drum set solo. So I can go on and on and on and on and on like that. It's a really good exercise to get you out of that mindset of feeling you got to play all these notes. While that is important, you got to know some bebop vocabulary. You have to really have a nice, a long plethora of bebop vocabulary that you can call upon anytime, right? So we need all that. Absolutely. You got to be practicing that. You got to be transcribing. You got to learn language from all the greats. However, that's not the only way that you can solo. That's not the only material you can draw from. So this exercise will get you thinking a lot more melodically, but still thinking in the bebop vein. Okay? Thinking more lines. So I cheated at the end. I played a little, some kind of typical drum set bebop vocabulary. But that's cool. That's the point. And that actually leads us into the fourth lesson, which I will be talking about playing over form in different ways. Okay? So I will see you in the next lesson.